Welcome to this explainer on mastering the piano Aziendale, which is basically your ultimate business plan. Look, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you know the exact feeling. You've got this absolutely incredible idea, but translating that raw, exciting ambition into a formal, investment-ready document, it can be incredibly daunting. Well, let's dive right into this. Today, we're going to break down an essential blueprint that practically cures blank page anxiety and helps you transform that spark of an idea into a concrete, undeniable pitch. So, how do we actually do it? We're leaning on a seriously structured, almost encyclopedic framework designed by F.D.T. Consulting and Francesca Di Tommaso. Let me be clear, this isn't your average back-of-a-napkin checklist. It's an 11-part architectural masterclass for your business. It literally forces you to look at your venture from every conceivable angle, meaning you answer the hard questions before a bank or an angel investor even gets the chance to ask them. And trust me, they're going to ask. By following this, you are building an absolute fortress around your concept. To make this whole thing actionable, we've distilled those original 11 chapters into 5 logical phases: the vision and the company, the market and the competition, the marketing strategy, operations and management, and finally, finances and risk management. All right, let's get started with phase 1, the vision and the company. This is where we pour the concrete and layer foundation. Now, you might be wondering, why do investors care so much about your product lifecycle? Well, to prove you're actually going to be around in a few years. That's why the template requires you to map out your offerings on a product matrix. Are you pitching a high-risk question mark, a super reliable cash cow, a declining dog, or, as this matrix kind of playfully calls it, a rising cat, which is your star? Pinpointing this proves you're planning for the next decade, not just tomorrow. Moving right along to phase 2, the market and the competition. You absolutely have to ask yourself, and I mean, really look in the mirror and ask, who are the real competitors? Because missing some hidden rival, that can literally sink your ship before it even leaves the harbor. It's super easy to spot the giant corporation across the street, but what about the emerging tech startup halfway across the world? Your plan needs to show you've got your eyes wide open. The framework actually forces you to play defense here. It explicitly splits the field into your main competitors, the known names and their current market share, versus your potential competitors. For these potential rivals, you have to spell out exactly why they might jump into your space and what repercussions that would have on your bottom line. It's just a fantastic exercise in defensive strategy. All right, phase 3, the marketing strategy. We know the market, now let's capture it. This section, it's the whole shebang. You need a completely comprehensive marketing mix. We're talking buyer psychology, your pricing policies, how you're going to actually distribute this thing, and your PR game plan. And crucially, you have to lock in hardcore 5-year revenue goals. Every single marketing dollar must be accounted for. Hope is definitely not a marketing strategy here. Next up is phase 4, operations and management. So you've sold the dream, right? Now you have to show how the sausage actually gets made day to day. This happens in 4 very clear steps. Establishing your physical domicile, organizing the lifeblood of your back office IT, securing your production facilities, and, finally, locking in those key supplier contracts. And when it comes to production, this template leans heavily into TQM, or Total Quality Management. This is absolutely a game changer. It shows investors you aren't just slapping things together. You actually have a systemic, integrated approach to keeping customers happy for the long haul through flawless production. But hey, even the best machines in the world do nothing without the right operators, right? That's why you have to lay out your human capital. You need full CVs, training programs, and your board of directors. And don't forget your external advisors like your fiduciaria or trust company. Showing you have the right experts in your corner gives investors massive peace of mind. Finally, let's put the roof on this house with phase 5, finances and risk management. This is your ultimate reality check. Before anyone writes you a check, you've got to show you're prepared for the worst. You do this by stacking internal risks, think a management shakeup or production failure, directly against external risks, like sudden economic shifts or new ecological laws. Actually laying this out proves you've got a real strategy for when things get messy. And look, when we talk finances, blind optimism just doesn't cut it. The template literally forces you to visualize your next 3 to 5 years across 3 specific scenarios: your ideal case, where everything is perfect, a realistic case showing moderate performance, and your worst-case survival metrics. You absolutely have to prove you are grounded in reality. Now, a quick note, you have to keep your business plan grounded locally. Because this model utilizes Swiss-Italian corporate standards, you need to detail your specific tax agreements, your imposte, with the local canton. And you have to provide transparent background checks via the Registro delle Esecuzioni to prove there are no hidden debt ghosts in your closet. You know the drill, right? You can't just make claims. You have to back them up with an exhaustive appendix. We are talking commercial register extracts, those debt records we just mentioned, audited financial statements, detailed liquidity plans. It is a mountain of paperwork, but for sure, this level of transparency is completely non-negotiable. All right, so we've taken all 11 of those original sections and built an absolutely unshakable blueprint. And all of this rigorous planning leads us directly to the climax of the document, the partecipazione. This is it, your formal offer to the investors, laying out the exact capital you need and the precise terms of the partnership. So, what does this all mean for you? When you look at the hardcore financial demands, the intensive capital needs, and the brutal risk models demanded in this template, there is really just one final question you have to ask yourself. Is your idea truly ready for the market? Because if you can fill out this blueprint with total confidence, then your answer is a huge, resounding yes. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.